Hi, I'm Geoff Stokes. Welcome to Geoff's Daily Dose of Encouragement. Today I have a question. Where are the miracles? I was inspired, I guess, or motivated, I guess, really again to start crying out to God when I was reading Acts chapter 9 this morning of a couple of miracles that Peter did. These things happened just after the persecution that arose after Stephen was martyred, and then Saul, who then became Paul, was going around threatening the Christians and then got saved. And then they had peace. And this is what happened. In verse 32, Acts 9, it says, "And it came to pass, as Peter passed through all quarters, he came down also to the saints which dwell at Lydda. And there he found a certain man named Aeneas, which had kept his bed 8 years, and was sick of the palsy. And Peter said to him, Aeneas, Jesus Christ makes you whole. Arise and make your bed. And he arose immediately. And all that dwelt at Lydda and Saron saw him and turned to the Lord." And then we have another situation, because there was a lady in a place called Joppa, which wasn't far away from Lydda, named Tabitha. And it says this, "Now there was at Joppa a certain disciple named Tabitha, which by interpretation is called Dorcas." That's where the company that makes pins for dressmaking and stuff gets its name, Dorcas. "This woman was full of good works and alms deeds which she did. And it came to pass in those days that she was sick and died, whom, when they had washed, they laid her in an upper room. And forasmuch as Lydda was near to Joppa, and the disciples had heard that Peter was there, they sent unto him 2 men, desiring him that he would not delay to come to them. Then Peter arose and went with them. When he was come, they brought him into the upper chamber, and all the widows stood by him, weeping and showing the coats and garments which Dorcas made, while she was with them. But Peter put them all forth, or put them all out, and kneeled down and prayed, and turning him to the body, said, Tabitha, arise. And she opened her eyes, and when she saw Peter, she sat up. And he gave her his hand, and lifted her up. And when he had called the saints and widows, presented her alive. And it was known throughout all Joppa, and many believed in the Lord." 2 miracles that Peter did. He healed Aeneas from an 8-year sickness of palsy, which I think is like an epilepsy or something. And then he rose Tabitha from the dead. And both times, those 2 miracles caused people in the area to believe. And I've also been reading some history on revivals in China, and the fervour and the power of God, and the fact that when miracles were done, many in the area believed on Jesus Christ. And that's why my question was, where are the miracles? We need those miracles in our society, which are almost like Laodicean in nature. You know, everyone's too self-satisfied, even us as Christians, and we need a fervour of the Lord, and we need the Spirit of God, and we need to hunger and thirst for that and press into God. I was crying out to God this morning about that. We need to give ourselves to fasting and prayer until the Lord shows us and pours out his Spirit. There are gifts of the Spirit in the Bible, you know, like gifts of healing, gifts of faith, gifts of miracles, words of knowledge that are used, that are tools that Christians use, just like Peter did. He didn't do a thing. He just spoke to the people. He just spoke a word, just like Jesus did sometimes. He just spoke and said, Tabitha, arise. No big, long 10-minute prayer. No casting out this and casting out that and binding this and binding that. Just a simple word, and it was done. Now we need, as Christians, to be living in that realm. And we need to hunger and thirst and find out where we need to be, what we need to be doing as Christians so that we can live in that realm instead of just coasting along and living comfortably. And I'm speaking to myself. I'm getting fed up with seeing all these sick people in the church and in my own family and feel like powerless to do anything about it. And so I say sometimes to the Lord, I want revival, Lord. Let it begin with me. And so I pray that you might have that same heart. So where are the miracles? And we might be the problem that's blocking them. So, and if you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ, you need a miracle. If you confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. For whosoever shall confess that Jesus is the Son of God, God dwells in him and he in God. Because it says in Romans 1 that the gospel of Jesus Christ is the power of God unto salvation for all who believe. God bless you. Have a great day.